Welcome to the Ageplay Confidential podcast, a show where I talk about anything and everything Ageplay related. I am your host, Super B. Super B, Mr. Super Daddy, however it is you're following me on Instagram. I just wanted to give a special shout out to those following me there, my super close friends. I appreciate you, and thank you for making me feel super welcome and for liking my goo-goo gaga content. Anyway, I am going to do a Wing It episode. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but I have no idea how it's going to come out. So, actually, there is something that I wanted to kind of discuss. My feelings about making an effort to actually meet somebody in the community. And it's very hard. There's a lot of anxiety that might go into meeting somebody, especially if you haven't done so yet in the past. And it could be nerve-wracking because maybe for the longest time, you have been doing this fetish, this thing that we call ABDL, however you use it. We've been doing this in the privacy of our own little bedrooms. And most of us never, ever, ever shared this with anybody, you know? And for the longest time before the advent of social media, a lot of people, a lot of ABDLers were in the closet because they just thought there's can't be anybody else in the world that would be into this lifestyle. And lo and behold, thanks to the internets and the WW World Wide Web, we have been exposed to a lot of new content from a lot of people that are just now coming out of their shell. And it's nice to be living in this time now because little by little, we're chipping away at the negative, the look that we get from the vanilla crowd. There have been quite a few documentaries, mini documentaries, most recently the Vice documentary with Mommy Cat Marie and the folks at ABU, and that one was done pretty well, I would say. And so with more of that coming into the forefront, I think it's getting easier for people to kind of say, hey, you know, look, I'm a little different. There's a lot of people that are like me that like this kind of stuff. So, you know, here we are. So, but now that's nice. And people are getting a little bit more courage to maybe start posting online. But then there is that extra additional step. What's the next step? To actually maybe meet somebody in the community and maybe try to explore these fantasies that you've had so long with somebody else. And that can be very nerve-wracking. You know, if you meet somebody online who has the same feelings towards what you like, I think it's very important to try to actually interact with and meet these people in person, because these are experiences that for the longest time not a lot of people were ever able to do because of being closeted and hidden. But now that is more, I'm not going to say mainstream, but it is out there more, right? Clothing is getting cuter for the girls, and you know, it's just, I think it's getting better for us littles. And I think that if there's an opportunity to meet somebody, that you go for it, right? Especially if you made a really good connection with somebody online. Now, I know it could be nerve-wracking and you can have a lot of anxiety about it, but I always like to say that you don't want to go through your life regretting what could have been. You know, you might be meeting the soulmate that you wanted to meet or that you've been wanting to meet forever, or you might not. And I got to tell you, it's got to be like, it's like dating, you know, not everyone's going to be a winner. Not everyone's going to become your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Not everyone's going to be into this. Actually, the odds of you finding a vanilla that's going to be okay with it and embrace it, it's very rare, you know. So when you meet somebody in the community that's willing to meet up, I say you take that opportunity. I say you take that opportunity, and it might be a great experience. And look, there is a chance that it might not be a great experience, and that yeah, maybe, you know. But I think we should all, you know, we all owe it to ourselves to really try, especially if the opportunity is presented to you. And I've had a lot of issues with that in the past. With trying to make plans with individuals and it not working out because they got cold feet or they just ghosted me, and that's a big problem in the community. The ghosting. Nobody likes to be ghosted, right? And I'm still trying to figure out why that occurs. What the issue is here? Why people engage in conversation and, you know, in a lot of cases, you know, have a really good conversation, talk about your fantasies, your desires, your wants, your needs with the community. You seem like you're aligned in what you want, and then boom, you're ghosted. And then you sit there, you're thinking, what happened there? I mean, I thought we were doing good. Case in point, I had something happen to me a couple months ago. I got a message from a vanilla account, not a message, a follow request. And I always look at other people's profiles before I allow them to, you know, follow me, yay or nay, you know. So obviously I followed her. Or, I mean, I went to her page, I looked it over, and I noticed it was completely vanilla. There's absolutely nothing ABDL. But this woman was cute. So I reached out. I said, listen, I think you're beautiful. However, I'm curious as to why you want to follow me. You have nothing on your account that's Ageplay related. Now, I'm assuming that she's a closeted ABDL and she's admiring from afar and she doesn't have a kinky account, yada, yada, yada. And sure enough, yes. And for the most part, the people who are vanilla that reach out, I'm always curious as to why. And I'm going to say 99.9% of them have always been a closeted ABDL who didn't, you know, have whatever, didn't want to put their stuff out there. And how many people are in the world that exist in the world right now that don't have a social media account, that are just out there and you don't know? But anyway, so we struck up a nice little conversation, and she quickly showed me a picture of her in a pacifier, and it was the girl in the pictures of her account. So I'm like, okay, you're very cute, and we started talking, and we exchanged more photos just to kind of prove who we are, and we started talking about our fantasies and, you know, how she always imagined and dreamed about blah blah blah. And I was like, hey, you know, it's a fun experience. And again, I'm trying to, you know, get to know this person more, and you know, with the intention of, at some point, if she's cool, let's do something. Let's meet up. Let's hang out, right? I'm all about that right now. It's not look, I like pen pals and everything, but I really kind of want to let's just do this now. I'm a single guy now, and I am ready to go. I'm not getting any younger either, and I have all this experience and knowledge to give, and it's hard to meet people because for the most part they flake out. Now, what happened with this girl? We talked for about 2 weeks, and the conversations were intense, and then boom, cold turkey stop talking to me. And that's frustrating. It's frustrating. Now, I'm not like bent out of shape about it because I only chatted with this woman 2 weeks, but it's 2 weeks of my time wasted. 2 weeks of my time wasted. And there are a lot of time wasters in not only the ABDL community, but in general. If you're trying to date, if you're on Bumble, if you're on Tinder, and you're a dude, good luck getting any attention from that cute girl that you swiped right on, because I guarantee you she's got thousands of likes. And there's no way in hell she's going to weed through all of that and look at your account and be like, that's the guy. It's just not meant. It's just the cards are stacked against the dudes. Think about the ABDO community. It's probably even worse on both sides, though. Not only on the dudes, but on the women. It's difficult for people to commit. Here's another thing. How do you know that the person you're talking to, that you're having these kinky little intimate fantasy talks with, chats with, isn't married themselves? I'm sure that we have talked to and had these amazing conversations with people who are involved in relationships, and they're just doing this as an outlet to fulfill a deep desire in them. And maybe all they want is the fantasy. All they want is to imagine what it would be like. But to go through with it, they can't. And that's probably why you get ghosted. I'm assuming, unless they met somebody else and they were like, fuck this, I found somebody else better. But I think that a lot of people are talking with others that are in other relationships. And either they're in other ABDL relationships and they're just fucking around and doing whatever. But for the most part, maybe they're in they're closeted little, and they're with a significant other who maybe knows about it or doesn't know about it at all, and they're doing this all in a sneak tip, right? And that's something that you just don't know. You just don't know. And unfortunately, you might have to go through one or two of these incidences where you think you're getting to know somebody, you think you're getting somewhere with somebody, and you're like, oh my God, this person's amazing, and they're into what I'm into, and they're attractive, and da 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 da, and then lo and behold, they're only doing this when their significant other is sleeping or at work or doing something else, and they only have time, on certain times of the evening. If you're in that pattern with somebody, I think you better consider them. Maybe they're dating somebody, or they're married or whatever. But that's basically what occurs in the community, and but I know that could be a deterrent for some people to meet up. It could be a deterrent for some people to actually get to know somebody, in the community. But if you're afraid to meet up with somebody on a one-on-one basis, and that's very understandable, especially if you're a woman, because it's harder. If you're going to meet a guy, there's that. You have to wonder in the back of your head: is this guy on the up and up, or is he going to fuck with me somehow? You have to be on your game there. But I think one of the better ways to kind of dip your toes in meeting people is going out to Munches. If you can find a munch, that is, and if it's in your area, I say make the time and effort to go and go to one of these Munches. It might not be for you, but you don't know unless you try. And that's a good way to meet others that are in your area or close to it. And then from there, hopefully maybe get into a little bit more, maybe get to do some playtime, or maybe they become a caregiver or something like that. I think that's the best approach to do it. And of course, the other approach is to actually getting to know somebody on Instagram and meeting up. Sometimes it takes years for that relationship to develop, where you get enough courage to meet up. And maybe you're just waiting to know, is this guy legit, or is he just putting on a show? And there's only one way to do that. Continue to talk, make an effort, because people's true sides will eventually come out, and it just takes time. But if you feel comfortable and, go for it. Recently, I had the opportunity to baby somebody very, very special and near and dear to me, a friend that I made during the pandemic, an ABDL friend who happens to live 25 minutes away from me. And it took, look at that, 2 years to go from meeting to actually engaging in some sort of age play. And I was the daddy, and she was a little baby. She was a little infant baby. Very cute. Her name is Baby Girl Mommy 469, and that is on Instagram. Or is it 496? I have my Instagram in front of me right now. Why don't we just do some investigatory work here, and I will give you that name in a second. Baby girl mommy 496. What kind of a daddy am I? But we were friends, and we met through Instagram. And when we found out we lived next to each or close to each other, that made the conversation a little bit more interesting, obviously. But she is married. There is a dynamic between her and her mommy, and it has been agreed upon, but between them, that it's cool to have a daddy dynamic with me, and she's my little. But we are platonically, right? It's a platonic friendship, and we're just exploring the lifestyle together. And even though it's platonic, obviously there's a lot of things that occur during the during the baby daddy interaction where it's arousing, I guess, but it's not like I'm horned up the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all pleasurable, I say, regardless if there's going to be anything, sexual involved or not. Age play for me is all around arousing in different aspects. Both sides are, and I was able to explore that with her, but nothing sexual happened, obviously. I am a very respectful daddy when it comes to that. But we had to kind of build that relationship before she was comfortable enough and trusted me to be that for her. And sometimes it takes time. And other times, believe it or not, I think I met up with somebody a mere 2 or 3 weeks after we started chit-chatting. I mean, sometimes it just gets to that level real quick. Again, it was, more of a platonic hookup, but it was like, it was fun. We both got to experience something that we liked, and it was a nice experience, Sometimes these meetups are one-offs. They're not reoccurring meetups, and that's something that you also have to consider. You have to take into account, your availability, their availability. Did you actually click? Did you actually connect well? And I haven't had many repeat play partners. I did have, I think, 1 or 2. But again, distance plays a big part of that. And you know what, though, at the end of the day, if there's somebody out there that is worth traveling for, especially if it's in this community, and you hit it off online, I think it's worth giving it a try. And hopefully you both don't flake out. That's another big major thing in the community is the flakers, the people that just make the commitment and then they just flake out. It is what it is. It is what it is, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, that's. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss today. I appreciate you coming and listening to the show. This one's a shorter one. It is a UFC night, and I want to go out there and start watching. I'm gonna root for Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. If you're a UFC person, you know what I'm talking about. If not, just put a ball in your mouth and go to sleep, because you're just a baby and you deserve to be a baby in a diaper and sleeping in the crib and yada, yada, yada. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And we will be back with another episode of Ageplay Confidential. Take it easy.